said, in a world of give and take, few are willing to give what it takes to become a champion. For life doesn't determine a champion determines life. Bobby Allison has given it his all as one of the greatest drivers in the history of stock car auto racing. Not only has he made the sport a career, but a way of life. Winning an amazing 84 races, 57 poles, the most popular driver award 4 years running, and the 1983 NASCAR Winston Cup Championship. The leader of the celebrated Alabama gang became interested in racing as a youngster, competing on local short tracks. That eventually led to a chance at the big time, NASCAR's Winston Cup Series. Allison started first on his own. Then came opportunities to compete with more established teams, such as Holman Moody and Junior Johnson. Bobby Allison became popular, a winner, and then a champion. But the Allison story is not that simple. His life has been a series of soaring highs brought on by racing accomplishments, which have established him as one of the all-time best. Yet there have been periods of professional struggle and deep personal tragedy. He lost his sons Clifford and Davey the same year, and his dear friend Neil Bonnet. And who can forget that dark day in 1988 in Long Pond, Pennsylvania, when Allison so desperately clung to life following a crash at Pocono International Raceway. Bobby Allison lived to tell the story, but never raced again.
We got a spin back on the backstretch. Bobby Allison involved.
Through it all, Allison has stood tall and left in his wake countless memories and a legacy to be a champion. Today, he continues to serve as one of the sport's most respected ambassadors, touching the loyal NASCAR fans who cheered for him for so many years. Tonight, friends and members of the NASCAR community pay tribute to the 1998 inductee of the North Carolina Auto Racing Hall of Fame, Mr. Robert Arthur Bobby Allison, the man, the driver, the legend.
Bobby Allison, looking for his second win of the year, passes Petty and takes the lead, while brother Donnie takes fourth place away from Baker.
Bobby Allison was the greatest ambassador this sport ever had. He would get in a race car, didn't matter what kind, and he would take racing to the people. He'd take one of the big stars NASCAR had to offer to the people, whether it was in a big racetrack that had 10 or 12,000 seats, or someplace had 1,500 or 2,000 seats. And he took our sport to them, and that's what made him so great. So he always wanted to please them. It was a real fatherly kind of thing, and it was just such a privilege and a blessing to work with him and to still consider him such a good friend.
But like I said, Bobby Allison, to me, was one of the hardest chargers in NASCAR history. It almost killed him not to win a race, and he would do anything to try to win. But tonight, Bobby, this is your night, and I want to congratulate you, and you're a great friend of mine, and we all love you. Thank you.
How bad, tragic it was for Bobby to not be able to drive anymore after Pocono, but I think an inspiration to all of us. I know it was to myself and my family, to see a family come about and come through the sport like Bobby Allison did. So again, I think him getting inducted like this pretty much sums up all of us that came from, whether it be the hills of Kentucky or down in Florida like Bobby did, to just keep digging, and no matter what race you were racing in and what kind of car you were driving, to give it 110%, because in the long run, that checkered flag was what we were looking for, and that's exactly what Bobby Allison did. So I think he inspired a lot of us, and he probably doesn't realize how many of us he really inspired, but I know he inspired me, so congratulations, Bobby.
There's trouble in the front stretch as leader Bobby Allison and another car lose control. An alert track official quickly waves the caution flag to warn the others. For Bobby Allison, it's an early end to a promising afternoon.
Congratulations, Bobby. You deserve to be in the Hall of Fame, and I think I speak for the next generation of drivers that we appreciate what you've done to bring our sport to where it is today.
Bobby Allison is one of the premier people that have put this sport where it's at today. You know, Bobby and Donnie and the Alabama gang and what they did for racing way back when, and the competitiveness that they brought in with Donnie or Bobby with his kids. Bobby Allison's just a great human being, and he's had a tough dealt of cards to him the last few years here, and but there's none better. I mean, Bobby Allison is a true racer, and I've looked up to him for a long time, and there's a lot of short track people all over the country that probably still look up to him. I mean, Bobby Allison is the epitome of a race car driver. He built his own stuff, got the stuff out of a junkyard, made the stuff better, went out there and beat Richard Petty when Richard Petty was a king. And you know, he's made this sport what it is today. He's one of the many guys that definitely deserve to be in that Hall of Fame.
I think he was a great teacher. I think maybe not a teacher of specific things to do, but a teacher to show us how to be in this sport as a gentleman, how to be in this sport as a fair competitor, even though there may be some argument for some people, but he was, because that's the nature of it. How to handle yourself with people and your fellow competitors, and how to get along with your fellow man and just be a good spokesman for stock car racing. If anyone wants to coming along today, or any of the new drivers, or anybody on any work they do, or any walk of life, wants to see, hey, how should I kind of mold myself or do it? Take a look at the career of the guy you're honoring tonight, Bobby Allison, and you'll get a textbook example. You can't go wrong, and I just think it's a great honor that you'll give me.
Spin-outs are the rule here rather than the exception. Chevrolet's Bobby Allison, trailing smoke, heads for the pits. Then behind the wall for hasty repairs that do not help.
You know, I don't think there's, without a doubt, any more deserving person in racing to be inducted into any Hall of Fame, certainly the North Carolina Stock Car Hall of Fame, than Bobby Allison. I can think back so many years. I mean, when I hadn't even gotten into Winston Cup racing yet, I was down in Franklin, Tennessee, and Bobby was in Hueytown, Alabama, and he was my hero. He would come to Nashville and run the sportsman races then, and he'd have those 55, 56 Chevrolets with the pipes sticking out the fender and fire coming out the side of it, and him and Chuck Looney would come into town, and I would always watch Bobby and just idolize him, really, and hope to someday be able to run on the same tracks he run on. Never really had any idea of being able to compete with him because he was such a great race car driver.
But why do people remember him? Because he would go out of his way to satisfy the fans, the promoters, the competitors. Oh, he's a fierce competitor on the racetrack, but he would give you the shirt off your back in the pits. You know, so everybody could go to Bobby and say, my car's doing this or not doing that. And knowing that he was going to have to go out in a few minutes and race against them, he would still sit there and tell them how to fix their car.
I think the first thing I think about is racer. If anybody epitomizes a true racer, he could drive anything, he would drive anything, he could absolutely just drive the wheels off of it, and he was relentless in his pursuit of what he was looking to accomplish, that being a Winston Cup championship. And it's such a shame that his career got ended when it did. But I think another thing you think about in Bobby Allison is when you talk to Davey, and when Davey would tell you the thing that meant the most to him was never one of his victories. It was finishing second to his father in the Daytona 500. That says something about the man and about the father. That's something special.
Bobby Allison, I mean, he's a legend. You know, you don't say that many about many race drivers. You got Richard Petty, you got David Pearson, you got Dale Earnhardt, you got Bobby Allison. Bobby, it's great that you're in the North Carolina Hall of Fame. This just adds to the great things that you've done for racing, for everybody in your life. You're a tremendous example to all of us, not only as a race driver, but as a person. And congratulations, I think it's wonderful.
Well, if this cliche, he did it his way or I did it my way, ever was fitting for one person. It was Bobby. Bobby, who loved racing so much. He didn't care about wealth or income, or he knew where it was coming from. He loved the fans. He put the sport on you know, 5 different levels, if you want to, and probably paid for it more than anybody that I've ever met in my whole life. A wonderful human being. I mean, an unbelievable driver. Who wasn't afraid to try things, and who wasn't afraid to come back and say, well, I think that didn't work so well. But he also, you know, contributed to the sport in a technical way. I love him. I love him.
And he's having trouble.
Brett Bodine, problems with Brett Bodine. Bobby Allison with the T-bone maneuver up in turns 3 and 4. They're coming around for the white flag. Dale Jarrett avoids to the inside of the racetrack. And as he went up the banking, so did Bobby Allison, trying to avoid him, and Bobby had nothing to do but hit the man.
And Bobby trying to get that car coaxed around, teasing that injured Miller Buick back across to take the checkered flag as they come around.
But, you know, I raced with Bobby a lot of years, and it was really a great pleasure. Ups and downs, we had a lot of them together, and a lot of good times, a lot of good races together, and really for my whole family, Pat, Pam, Kenny, Ron, Donald, we congratulate Bobby with all our heart.
I've been racing with Bobby Allison a long time. You know, I never really had an opportunity to be on the car or work on the car with him, but we sure raced a lot against him in the days with Darrell Waltrip and a lot of other competitors. But Bobby Allison's, you can't say enough about him.
I just think a lot of Bobby. I'm proud to have known him, to competed against him. If I probably had a rival in the 80s, late 70s, early 80s, it was Bobby Allison. The championship battles that we had, and he finally won in '83. It's just been fun knowing Bobby, fun competing against him, and my heart breaks when I see him today and think of all the tragedy in his life and in his family's life. And I still, to this day, even though I know he looks at me sometimes like, I know I don't like you, but I can't remember why, I still love to talk to him. And if I was there, I'd love to shake his hand, congratulate him, and probably even give him a hug. Because I think a lot of Bobby Allison. And congratulations, Bobby. There's nothing in our sport that people can do for you or give to you that you're not deserving of.
Bobby Allison, you're the greatest. You are you're my #1 hero when it comes to driving race cars. You certainly showed me the stamina you had, and it helped me, gave me the confidence to you know, hang in there and do some things. I know we haven't always been on the same sheet, you know, but I really appreciate you. I appreciate your family. I appreciate Davey. Having probably the reason I've come from, I've put the wrenches down a few times and write a few checks is because of you and your family. I appreciate it very much.
Bobby was so tough on the racetrack that occasionally things get a little bit out of hand, and we all remember, as Bobby tells the story, Kel kept hitting Bobby in the knuckles with Kel's face, that infamous little scuffle down in turn 3 at Daytona. But the truth is, Bobby Allison's got the biggest heart. He employed darn near everybody in Hueytown, Alabama in some way, shape, form, or fashion. He gave to people, and you know, I think our sport needs to give back to the legends, and particularly Bobby Allison, because he's what made the sport what it is today, so that Jeff Gordon can earn $6 million, or a guy like me can make a decent living doing the things that we do these days. And I don't think we pay enough homage to the legends, and Bobby certainly is, I mean, the third winningest driver in the sport. He'd argue that he has one more victory than Darrell, so he's not tied with Darrell for the third. But that's the way Bobby is. He's so competitive. And but you know, if he did something happened on the racetrack, he'd forget about it. And next week it was a whole different story. The slate was wiped clean, and I think that's all you can ask for. But he was so driven, so tough. you weren't going to beat him if things were equal, because he was going to find some way to beat you. And you know, sometimes if he had to push you out of the way, he'd push you out of the way, but that's what made him great.
The next time I come around, the pit crew is going to give me the 1 lap to go sign. And right then, on the backstretch, I get past A.J. Foy. Coming off the 4th turn, I see the white flag, which means 1 lap to go. I'm running as hard as I ever run, but I know that one slip, one little slide, and Foy will motor right back past me. I'm not sure that he isn't sandbagging, holding something in reserve which he'll use on the last turn of the last lap. I keep my foot down coming off the 4th turn. There's the checkered flag, and I get a glimpse of my crew smiling and waving. I've won the race. My crew is one of the best, and I can't tell you how many nights and weekends they've worked on my car. It's a real pleasure to win, not only for myself, but for the crew that helped make it possible. After 4 hours, Junior Johnson has a reason to smile. Of course, we're all happy with first place money of a little more than $18,000. As a driver, I've got to admit that there is a terrific thrill to beating men like A.J. Foy, who finished 2nd, Bobby Isaac in 3rd, and David Pearson, who finished 4th. My brother Donnie Allison, driving number 27 Chevrolet, finished in 5th position, which made this a pretty good day for the Allison family. There I am in victory lane, and let me tell you that I'm a lot less tired than I would be if I finished 2nd. There's nothing like winning to make a race driver feel great. That's my wife Judy and my mom, and I've got 4 kids, and that means a lot of people around Hueytown, Alabama are happy today. The kids are quick to get into the act. With me here is Carrie, the little one, Bonnie, my other girl, and Davy, my oldest son. I guess Clifford's back there inspecting the car somewhere. The driver's got to be careful at a time like this. You might begin to believe he's as good as the newspapers and television say he is. You've got to remember that auto racing is a team effort. I never forget how important it is to have a good car, a good crew, and a great sponsor like Coca-Cola to make it all possible. A race driver loves to win. It's not only the money, it's something inside that says, today you're the best. There's nothing like that in the whole world.
Please join the North Carolina Auto Racing Hall of Fame as we welcome their 1998 inductee, Mr. Bobby Allison.